Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And this is the day the Lord hath made, and let us rejoice and let us be glad in it. So good to see you this morning. We greet you in the name of Jesus our Christ, and we thank God for you, and you. What a privilege, what a blessing, what an honor it is to be here on this first Thursday of April in the year of our Lord 2022. And I'm certainly thankful and grateful and appreciative to all of you for tuning in on today. I want you to know that we are just blessed to see another day. We really, really are. And I'm thankful to see just the light of a new day. Last 2 days have been interesting, and last night was a pretty rough night in our area. Storms all night long, massive thunderstorms, lightning like I probably haven't seen in a very long time. I mean, the winds blowing. I mean, just really just, just wind and rain and lightning. Just, striking at an all-time high. And it's been like that Tuesday and Wednesday. But last night was just massive. And but to get up the morning and just to hear the calm and to hear the sound almost of birds, and just a peace. And I think that's the way God does us. That sometimes things get rough at night, and night being literal and metaphorical. But if you just can make it to the day, and the darkest hour is just before dawn, just before daybreak. And so I'm just thankful for all of you for being here, and what have you gone through in the night season? Eugenia Price in her book talks about getting through the night. And I'm just thankful that we've all made it to greet the virgin light of a brand new day. And I'm so excited to have this opportunity to share hope with you. And so and you, everybody who's tuned in today, blessings to you. Blessings to you, Francis Hargest from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Why don't you drop us a line? Morning to you, Tina Williams from Fort Valley, Georgia. And so why don't you drop us a line this morning and let us know the city and the state and the country. Kim Lawrence from Tampa, Florida. All right. And drop us a line and let us know where you're viewing from. John Christina Jackson from East St. Louis, Illinois. Man, y'all coming in this morning. Georgia and Florida and Philadelphia. Man, y'all coming in. So what a blessing to have you here with us. And I'm just excited. Illinois, East St. Louis, Illinois. North Carolina. Anna Lawrence is here with us in North Carolina. Man, y'all coming on in. Lisa Williams from Chicago, Illinois. Man, listen, that everybody's coming on in, and I'm thankful to each of you. Drop me a line. Let me know the city, state. Kimberly Riley from Modesto, California. Blessings to you, Kimberly. What a privilege and what an honor it is to have you with us today. Excited to have this time of sharing with you. Blessings to you. What a Deborah Williams from New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah, I was just in New Orleans a few weeks ago. Blessings to you to New Orleans. Johnny Worley from Phoenix, Arizona. What a beautiful place, Phoenix, Arizona. What a blessing, Phoenix, Arizona. So everybody who's tuning in today, whether you tune in through Apple TV, Roku, Twitch, Amazon Fire TV, whether you're watching through Facebook, that's the official page of Pastor E. Dewey Smith, or the House of Hope Atlanta, whether you're Sean Addison from Arkansas, whether you're watching through YouTube, and I want y'all to come on in the room, YouTube. Come on in the room, YouTube. You've been watching me 2 years faithfully every Sunday. Isn't that amazing? Lisa's been watching for 2 years every Sunday faithfully. Isn't that a blessing? Even the pandemic, that we've been able to establish connection with people literally all over the world. What a blessing, Lisa. Thank you for your support past 2 years. It just makes me marvel to see that even in the worst of times, when I believe that even demonic forces and the enemy was trying to mute the voices of the church and hush the voices of of the kingdom, that God has expanded. Tom Lyons is here from Victorville, California. Miss Florence Danley from our new location, House of Hope, West Point. It was so good seeing you Sunday, Mrs. Danley, you and your husband. Was what a blessing to be back in, and we hadn't been back in worship since December. West Point. And that was what a blessing. Margaret Pate, blessings to you this morning. Good to have you here with us. Vicky Tolliver from Macon, Georgia. So everybody who's here, Apple TV, Roku, Twitch, Amazon, Fire TV, Facebook, whether it be either Fisher Page, Pastor E. Dewey Smith, or the House of Hope Atlanta. If you're watching through YouTube, and that's the House of Hope Atlanta YouTube page. I'm not sure about the other YouTube pages. There's another YouTube page. If you're watching through the through Twitter, if you're watching through the edewismith.org website, if you're watching through the House of Hope Atlanta website, if you're watching through the House of Hope West Point website, or if you're watching through a HTV Now, however you're viewing, welcome. Glad to have you here with us. And if this is your first time, I want you just to type in the number one. If this is your first time viewing our network, just type in the number one, so our community will know you're here, and we can welcome you to the family. And so blessings to you. Type in the number one. YouTube, y'all come on in. I haven't seen any comments from you, YouTube. I'm trying to give you some moments to come on in, and so we're certainly appreciative to all of you for tuning in. What a privilege and what a blessing that you're part of our network. And that's right. Thank you, Tina. And if you're watching through a platform that will allow you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share, please go ahead and consider doing that now. You can subscribe. Thank you. We got Patty Clay, who's a first-time member. Patty Clay. That's it, Patty Clay. Y'all welcome Patty on Facebook. Thank you. Welcome, Patty. Glad to have you here with us. She's a first-time viewer to our network, and she's tuned in to the Hope TV. And this is our morning dew devotional, Patty. So welcome. She's on Facebook, and so if everybody on Facebook can welcome Patty to our community, to our morning dew devotional family, it certainly will be a blessing to us. We want her to know that she's welcome here. And so I'm excited. So if you're watching through a platform that will allow you to subscribe, like, comment, or share, please consider doing so. Every time you subscribe, like, comment, or share, you help us to expand our platform exponential ways. When you subscribe, that helps us to leverage our subscriber list to bring other wonderful content creators to our platform. Good morning to you, Loretta Prada. Blessings to you. Glad to have you here with us. So y'all go ahead and welcome YouTube. I'm still waiting on you. That's good. Thank you for being so kind to Patty. Thanks for welcoming her to the community. And that's right. Welcome to first timers. Thank you, Margaret Pate. Bless. How about 392? Not bless. How about that? Not sure what that means. 392. But okay, whatever. I'm not sure what that means. But thank you, everybody. I'm so excited. So please subscribe, like, comment. Oh, these guys 3 9 second time visiting, maybe. I didn't quite get the joke. Tiffany, blessings to you. So I'm glad to have YouTube. I need to see something from you. I know YouTube is on there. I want to get some comments on YouTube. Give you some time to come on in. And so we're excited today about this time of sharing, and I'm so thankful. March of 2020 is when we launched the Hope TV network. It was just, I call it my meager attempt to stay in touch with our local community. And I had no idea in March of 2020 that by April of 2022 that this network would have reached and had well over 250 million views. Welcome to you from Dallas, Texas. I never had any idea that 250 million views of our content throughout all of the platforms. God has been amazing, and people all over the world have been blessed through it, and so I'm excited about it. And last month was our 2-year anniversary of the Hope TV, and we just blessings to you, Barbara from LaPlace, Louisiana. Blessings to you. And our team launched a new website in honor of our 2-year anniversary. HTV Now or the HopeTV.com. Either one of those, HTVNow.com or the HopeTV.com. Either one of those will get you to the page. And look at this website. Look at this website. When you go onto the website, there's a list of every show that's on the network. Man, we got about 30 shows. You also, if Facebook is down or YouTube is down, things happen sometimes. But they got all kind of crazy things that people try to do to put disclaimers and file false claims about music infringement, all kind of crazy things. But if anything goes down and you're trying to figure out what's happening on Hope TV, you can go right to this page, HTV Now, Hope TV. And as a matter of fact, you can watch me live. When the programming is live, you can go right here and watch it live. Like right now, Morning Dew is playing. So if you go to the website and you hit that button, watch whose face comes up in a minute. You see that? That's a live broadcast. So whatever's airing live, you can watch it right here on this channel, right? On this website. Everything is live. Now that you want to know if you want to know what's playing during the day, you go to the Hope TV Now, look at Thursday, and all the programs from today already airing. You see that? Everything is already airing for the day. So if you want to know what's airing, it's interactive. You can go there and you can check out everything for the rest of the day. Everything is added right there, right there. And tomorrow's schedule, see, it's already in there, already included. And so look at the program all day long. What a blessing. And let me show you some of the programs we did in season 6, just to show you. If you go to Boss Up, for instance, or The Conversation, I want to show. Look at this. I want you to get a chance to see the quality. These are some of the in-house shows that were produced. Check it out. You go to this one. This is Boss Up. This is for business owners. This is season 6, episode 2. One of our members, Melissa Mitchell, who's doing a phenomenal job in the industry in terms of creating and art. But check this out. Look at that. Look at that show comes on. Look at that introduction. My goodness, our editors have done an amazing job with taking our programming to the next level. And so look at that. Look at the intro how it comes on. My goodness, I mean, they've done an amazing job. And then watch it. Look how it looks. That's how it comes on. I mean, just a powerful show. You can watch everything. I mean, it can go on any network. As a matter of fact, from this same link, you also can share it. You can send it through email. So while you're watching, there are different ways you can share it right here from the page. And so it's interactive, and so it's been an amazing blessing to us. This is a conversation for men. Let's look at this. This is season 6, episode 3. It's talking about the loss of celebrities and why that affects. Look how you can share it right there. You can email it, you can send Facebook, you can tweet it. I mean, mix all different ways you can send it to people right here from the page. You can copy the link if you want to copy it and just send it that way. I mean, just a phenomenal show. And this is another one that can be on any network channel. Single in the City is another. Look at this show for all the single people. Just a beautifully shot show. Top level production. We are excited about the programming from OTV. And so I want you to take some time and check it out. Somebody called it, I think Tina called it it's the Netflix for believers, for Christians. I mean, so many great things on. I mean, look at the introduction. I mean, look at the editing, look at the graphics, look at the motion. I mean, just a beautifully shot. And I've been in media a long time, and I never thought I'd see graphics like this. This is not how we got started with graphics some 30, 40 years ago when I was doing media, but just a blessing. And so I'm excited to you. So grateful to God for Hope TV. So share it, and I appreciate you for all that you've done to support the Hope TV. Not only that was March of 2020, so it's been 2 years. But March of 2021, God blessed me to launch my record label, our record label, Pebble Street Records, and we released our first single to radio and our first album in October called God Period, which we released in October. And it was one of the top albums of the year on Billboard, and we just released that in October. Shows you how much support. So we only had 3 months, October, and November, and it was one of the top 50 albums on Billboard, gospel music for last year, which is almost unheard of to release an album that late, but to get that kind of traction. That's how you supported it. And my single that we released to radio called Your Presence is a Gift. That thing is burning up the charts. I just got off the phone this morning with somebody in radio, and some excellent news that's been added by even more stations. It's been added to Memphis, Tennessee, Savannah, Georgia, Jacksonville, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, I think Kansas City, Missouri. And so that's before. I just got that news this morning. And but the blessing, family, is as of this week, my single "Your Presence is a Gift" is the number 5 song in the country on gospel radio. Oh my goodness! I, if you only could see this little heart of mine, a song that we wrote and I helped to write and record it, really as a tribute to my late mother, to help people to deal with the feelings of absence and pain and who've gone through grief and bereavement. And I felt led to record it during the pandemic because so many people passed away, and I wanted to give a tribute to my mom. And now that song is number 5. It's the fifth. It was the 5th highest played song on gospel radio. Only 4 songs ahead of it. Only 4. And to God be the glory. So I never dreamed that something like this would happen for me. Not from a little dude, not from a dude from Macon, Georgia. Never dreamed it. And it's just the lesson is if God gives you a message, or gives you a song, or gives you a vision, pursue it. I put music on the background a long time ago to pursue pastoring. And I just never thought in a million years that God would honor something I recorded, that I produced. And here it is now, number 5 song on Billboard on gospel radio, and it's still climbing, and it's still climbing. So, can you imagine what happens once it started playing in Chicago and Memphis and and Jacksonville and Kansas City? Can you imagine what's going to happen then? Wow. So it's exceeded my wildest expectations, and so to God be the glory. So everybody who's called a radio announcer, a radio station to request this song, thank you. I've heard it twice this morning on Wow. DeWanda, she heard it twice this morning on WPP. Wow, WPP, WBBP. She's heard it twice. Is that in Raleigh, North Carolina? DeWanda, she's heard it twice this morning. Wow. Is that North Carolina, DeWanda? She's heard it twice. My goodness, in North Carolina. And it's just 9:50. She's heard it twice. Look at God. So to God be the glory. I mean, it's playing in Shreveport, Louisiana. Man, it's just amazing. And I heard it myself yesterday twice on radio myself yesterday. I heard it. Jacada Carr played it, and also Willie Moore. So I heard it twice on Praise 102 myself. I rarely hear it on radio, so to God be the glory. So thank you for your support. Y'all keep praying. That song got oil on it, and it's still climbing. Who knows? It may get number 1. It may get number 1. Who knows? But if it doesn't go another step, I'm grateful that you've been blessed by it, and I'm grateful. If God does nothing else, I'm grateful for what God has already done. Too often we always complain about what not is and when things don't go the way we desire. But I'm grateful for what God has done. For it to make it to the top 20 is something that I didn't imagine. And now it's in the top 10 and top 5. That's proof that God will do exceeding abundantly of all you can ask or think. And I'm gonna move on. But if God's given you a dream a long time ago, I don't care if you were a little girl in high school, you're a young man, whatever God shows you, you follow the dream God shows you. I don't care if you're old, you get old and you think those days are behind like I thought. I haven't done music consistently in 30 plus years. But let me tell you something. Whatever God tells you, shows you, stick with it. So if it's a book, write it. If it's a degree, pursue it. If it's a business, you start it. If it's a song, you record it. If it's a relationship, you pursue it. If it's healing, you desire it. There is nothing that God promises that God can't do. All the promises of God are yea and amen. And that's what this is proof of. That you're never too old. That God doesn't need your credit. God doesn't need your bank account. God doesn't need your human credentialing. If God is giving you something, you stick with what God tells you, and God will bring it to pass. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Miss Beasley. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Good to see you this morning, Betty. Good to have you with us. So I think that's the lesson I want to leave with people. Whatever God shows you, whatever God extends your hands to do, you pursue it. That's right, Coach T. God bless you. Open his own school. Yeah, whatever it is, you pursue it and you pursue it and you watch God. That's right, Lisa. Stop. Absolutely. You don't need the credentialing. You don't even need the recommendation of people. God can get oil to you whether you get invited. Sometimes you don't even need the support of your family. If God has some oil on your life, you don't believe me? Ask David. David will tell you when the prophet comes to anoint the next king of Israel in my house. My daddy may not invite me, my brothers may not consider me. But if there's oil that's come that if there's an oil that has your name on it, it won't pour on anybody but you. And so all God needs is a yes. Now that's what I want this lesson to be. And if you do things, WBBP in Memphis, Tennessee Station on the internet, okay, heard it twice. Wow. It's in playing in Memphis. To God be the glory. So I want to just share that. So this is so encouraging for me, and I hope it encourages you. Some of you were with me when I recorded this, and well, you were part of the process. I was telling you about the song I was recording in the album, and so for you to see it come to fruition in real time is a blessing. That's right. So never second guess the voice God. All right, let me get going. Now, last but not least, we're back in public worship on first and third Sundays in the Atlanta location and at the West Point location. And so this past Sunday was our first time back in the cathedral since 2022, since 2020, March 8, 2020. And the saints showed up in large number. And we're going to be back in worship on Easter Sunday at 9 a.m. And so here's our schedule going forward for the Atlanta church. First and third Sundays at 9 a.m. We won't stream that service. We're still working on renovating the building and getting the technology up. So there's no streaming in the Atlanta location at 9 a.m. And also first and third Sundays, we're in the West Point location at 11:30 a.m. We have another flyer for that one as well. We don't want to put too much on this one to confuse you. So first and third Sundays, no streaming in Atlanta. First and third in West Point, Winston, Georgia, we will stream that one on the West Point website, on all the West Point social media. And then, of course, we're online every Sunday for the Atlanta church at 7:30 a.m., 10:15, 4:30, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. So if you've been watching us online, like somebody said, for the past 2 years, that won't change. That schedule, the online worship that we've been doing will stay consistent. Now, if you want to be in live in person, if you're in Atlanta, you want to come and visit, be a part, you can. That will be live only. No streaming right now. The live services, no streaming. We have a special service for online, and we have a special service for in person. But the in person services will not be streamed for the time being. The only thing that will be streamed is the same way we've done it for the past 2 years. And of course, if you want to stream me live in the West Point location, that will be 11:30 every Sunday. That will be streamed live through the West Point, House of Hope West Point social media and the website, but no streaming of the Atlanta Church live. Okay. All right. So let's get ready to get back in. So I just want to get that out to you as a disclaimer because a lot of people were confused Sunday. They thought we were streaming the live service. We're not streaming that now. We're still in a major, massive renovation, and we want to get the quality right before we can stream. We don't want to do anything that's not quality. If we can't do it in excellence yet, we don't want to do it. If it can't be done decently and in order, decent and in order. So the only thing that streams is the online services and the West Point at 11:30. You can go to House of Hope West Point if you want to watch me preach live. I'll be preaching that service live. You can watch that in real time. But the Atlanta church is not streaming live right now for in person. All right. Okay. Now let's get back to Sister Stop. I think everybody's in now. Still not seeing any YouTube messages. I don't know what's up with YouTube. But let's get to our lesson now. We're gonna get into the heart of our lesson now. Okay. I wanna let's see what's happening on YouTube. I want to get to the heart of our lesson now, but I'm excited. I really am that you're here. We've been going through the book of Galatians, and it's been so exciting. Um, Glad to have Felicia Jackson from Lakeland, Florida, and Jacqueline Banks, Millie Hunley, Earl Moss, and Jerry Poor, who are watching with us on YouTube. Glad to have them here with us on YouTube. What a blessing to have them here with us on YouTube this morning. All right, now let's get to our lesson for today. I'm going to do. We've been going through the book of Galatians, and we made it to chapter 5 in the book of Galatians, and it's been exciting, to say the least. I'm very, very, very excited about the book of Galatians, chapter 5, and we're in a series called Doing It God's Way. Doing it God's Way. We've been juxtaposing, Paul juxtaposes what happens when we live life the way we wanted to live. We spent about 2-3 weeks on those things. Now he's talking about what happens when you do things God's way. Now, the reason why Paul is saying this is because the Galatian people were trying to live a life with duality and duplicity. They were trying to still follow Christ, but also prioritize clothing and culinary constraints, codes, ceremonies, circumcision, and they were trying to make those things almost synonymous or equal to the cross and to Calvary. They were really saying you need Jesus plus don't wear anything that has wool or linen or a wool or linen blend. They were saying you need the Savior, but also you got to stay away from seafood that's scavengers. You need the Lord to be saved, but you also can't eat lobster. If you want to be righteous and connected with God, you need to accept Christ, but also avoid catfish. So all these codes and customs, they were thinking that any meat that was offered to idols and other gods, that if you eat meat offered to other gods, so if you wear woolen and linen like other people do, that means that you weren't connected to God. So they were trying to bring the Old Testament codes and ceremonies and creeds and customs and circumcisions to make these things prerequisites for salvation. So they really were saying that Christ's blood and the cross was not enough. You need Christ, you need the blood, and you can't eat shellfish. You need Christ, you need the blood, and a man has to be physically circumcised. You need Christ and the blood, but you can't wear something that's silk and wool. Because anything that has more than one linen, they said it was forbidden by the ceremonial constraints of the Old Testament. So they were trying to form this hybrid thing, and they wouldn't let the non-Jewish people in unless they followed their codes. And Christ had come to be Lord of the Sabbath, right? To fulfill the law. And they were trying to make people, they were trying to bind people under the law. He said, y'all want to do it your way. But to really, I call that series a Burger King religion. We spent about 3 weeks on Burger King religion. So you can't have it your way. It's not a Burger King religion. He says, but when you do it God's way, there are blessings in doing things God's way. And I'm gonna lift 3 of these blessings for you. I know I've talked a lot already, but there are when you do it God's way, there are blessings in doing it God's way. All right, and he says, and when you do things God's way, very, very important. And here's the scripture. He says, but what happens when we live God's way? This is the Message Bible. I love this how it reads it. This is a great litmus test. It's a great rubric, a pattern for us to live our lives by. Like, am I doing it God's way? Here's a great way to check yourself. Here's a great way you can evaluate yourself. I call this passage a real good tune-up passage. You know, when you take your car to get tuned up, they have these checkpoints. They check. Good morning, Geneva from Orlando, Florida, and Jerry Poor from Gulfport, Mississippi, on YouTube. When they check your oil, they check your fluid levels, they check your tires, they check your air filters. They have these checkpoints to make sure that everything's in order. They check your AC. They go through a checklist in order to tune your car up. Well, every now and then I think the believers need a checklist to make sure we're properly tuned and aligned with God's will. I call this passage that. Every now and then you come across a passage, I call it a tune-up passage. And Galatians 5 really is a spiritual tune-up passage. Because if you check yourself with this list, it'll show you where you are in terms of your spiritual growth and spiritual life. And look what he says. He says, but what happens when we live God's way? And we've gone through all of these one by one. He brings gifts into our lives, the way fruit appears in the orchid, things like affection for others, exuberance about life, serenity. And we dealt with these three the other day. A willingness to stick with things. We dealt with that Tuesday. A sense of compassion in the heart. We dealt with that one Tuesday, and a conviction that a basic wholeness permeates things in people. So we talk about all those things. That those are some of the checkpoints that will let you know if you're doing things God's way. But then I'm gonna look at three more today, three more checkpoints that will let us know if you and I are in tune with doing things God's way. And here's what Paul says. When you're doing things God's way, he says there are three more things that help. That will be evidenced by doing things God's way. He says, and I'll call this number one. I call this one dependable in fellowships. Dependable in it's really dependable in relationships and fellowships. Can you put that down? Dependable in relationships and fellowships. I'm sorry about that, producer. Can you change that for me? Dependable in relationships and fellowships. Dependable in relationships and fellowships. That when you and I are doing things the way God ordains, there is a dependability that we will have in our relationships and in our fellowships. Blessings to you, Ella from Indiana, and from Indiana. Blessings to you. We're dependable in relationships and in fellowships. I put fellowships initially, but when I kept looking at that, I wanted to just make sure there's a little more nuance than that. In our relationships and our fellowships. Doing things God's way brings about dependability and a loyalty in relationships and in fellowships. Let's put the scripture back on the screen. I want you to see it. So we can really dissect this first one. In relationships and in fellowships. Louis says, right in the middle of that verse, he says, we find ourselves involved in loyal commitments. We find ourselves loyal and involved in loyal commitments. When I read that, it kind of made me think about it. He says that when you're doing things God's way, there's a certain loyalty and dependability that comes from being connected to you. That when you are that when you and I do it God's way, that people know. Blessings to you, Karen from Victorville. You and Tom are both from Victorville. That's so ironic to me. That when we do it God's way, that there's a certain loyalty and there's a certain dependability that we have. And it's very nuanced because, first of all, in your relationships, can people look at you for loyalty as a friend? Those with whom you interact, the things that you're connected to. Do people view you through those lenses? Because Paul says that is one of the attributes of doing it God's way. When it comes to your friendship, when you make a commitment to something, whether it be to do something in ministry, whether it be that you're going to help the mission group, whether you gave somebody your word that you're going to help them bring something to pass, that you're going to support them in some kind of way, that there is a certain loyalty that comes about with that. And Because when people know that you and I are connected to God, then we have to be people of our word. You know, if you're going to come through, if you're going to support somebody, that shouldn't just be lip service. That's a loyal commitment. And I think this is also important because sometimes I've discovered this about sometimes people, that sometimes opportunity controls our loyalty. I'm gonna go there for a moment because some people are loyal to you as long as they benefit from the connection. Some people are loyal to you as long as it benefits them. Some people are dependable and loyal as long as you help their brand. Some people are dependable or loyal as long as they can get money from you. They're dependable or loyal as long as opportunity can come. They're dependable, they're loyal as long as you're well, as long as you're up, as long as you're doing great things. When you're up, some people are loyal to you because you're up. But true loyalty is not evidenced when you're up. True loyalty is evidence when you're down. I've seen so many people that walk out of people's lives because they went through bad seasons. And if you're a friend to somebody only because they had no bad seasons, are you really a friend? As Proverbs tells us that a brother loveth at all times, and a brother or sister is born for adversity. And I'm glad that God is not loyal or dependable based upon the season we're in our lives. I'm glad that God is not loyal or dependable based upon the decisions that we make. I believe that there is an undependable loyalty. There's an undependable. That there's an unbreakable. There's a dependable loyalty. There's an unconditional loyalty. That's the word. And so when opportunity controls your loyalty, that means you weren't loyal in the first place. That means some people they have a transactional nature of loyalty. It's business. They love you when you're up. The moment something hotter comes, they're on to the next. As long as they need you, they're loyal. And then I've seen people like that in my life. I've seen people that I've blessed when they were at their lowest and when they were at their worst. And the moment they get up, they forget about all you've been to them, and they discard you. I mean, I've known people that act like they never knew you. I've known people that act like you've never done anything for them, and so that's just an issue that sometimes in life, with some people, depend with some people, opportunity controls the loyalty. And but what this passage is saying that when we're really God's, yeah, that's my struggle. I'm loyal, but others. Listen, Geneva, I understand what you're saying. It's been my struggle too. When you've been loyal to people and they turn. Now, let me say this, but it's also a word to those of us in relationships. So if you're a member of a group, if you're a member of an organization, and you say you're part of the organization, then you need to be committed. Whether it's the church, whether it's your fraternity, whether it's the PTA, whether you're the team mom, um, loyalty, absolutely. So good to see you, Tasha. Yeah, just glad you're back. You're exactly right. It's opportunity controls loyalty. So if I say I'm going to be a part of the basketball program, then I'm going to be loyal to it. You know, I remember when I came up playing ball and committed to a team, and because I played baseball as well, and I got mad at the coach and wanted to quit the baseball team, and I was in eighth grade, and my dad wouldn't let me quit the baseball team. He was like, no. He was like, no. You made a commitment. You made a commitment. You made a commitment to the baseball team, and if you don't play your ninth grade year, if you want to play for this coach in your ninth grade year, that's on you. I'm not making you play baseball. But if you made a commitment to play baseball with the team, and just because something the coach said you didn't like, you're gonna finish up the season. I'm not gonna teach you to start something and then quit. You know, if you start it, you're gonna finish it. And that was a lesson in me that when you committed to something, you have to see it through. Um, and um, and so if you're loyal, if you're loyal, I've seen people even in relationships, and it's been very painful. I've seen people make vows in marriage, right? And the marriage doesn't work out. And I've seen people, the same people who in marriage, and the marriage didn't work out, they end up in divorce court. I've seen them try to destroy each other. It's like, how do you try to destroy somebody that you were married to? How do you try to destroy somebody that you had that even in divorce or death, that's some things you won't do. You know what I mean? So it's a different perspective. You don't try to hurt the people that you love. Now, there's a word I want to say about this. What happens when you're loyal to people and people are not loyal back? I think somebody asked the question earlier. I don't know what Francis, somebody, Geneva mentioned it earlier. They're struggling with that. Well, I think the problem comes there to whoever raised that point. When I've been loyal and people have been disloyal back, um, I think it's important two things. If that's a romantic relationship, that's a little more difficult. But if it's just a general principle, what I've discovered is this in life: never allow how people act to cause you to change your character. Never allow what anybody else does to cause you to change who you are. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who's always cheating in a relationship, if cheating is not what you do, don't allow somebody else to make you what you're not. Sometimes pain and revenge will make people lose their character because they want to get even. But what happens when you get even with them, but you get out of favor with God? So is it about getting even with them, or is it about you staying right with God? If getting even with them makes you not right with God, then that cost is too expensive. That's number one. Number two, the times when I bless people, I told you some stories, people I blessed them with. Some people, that God allowed me to bless them with kids, you know, uh, and people who bless me. My godfather was Dr. Willie Reed, and he's been gone 10 years. And Willie Reed, Laria Reed, is a part of my ministry today, one of our hosts on Pink Table Talk. Her dad, if it was not for her dad, I never would have got through college. Um, Her dad helped me when I was an 19-year-old pastor. I don't know of anybody else who had an impact on my life to that degree from that moment until the day he died. And to this day, I still honor him. To this day, his daughter and I still are connected. His family, I'm still loyal to his memory. Why? Because of what he did for me. And not only that, but I try to do for other young preachers what Willie Reed did for me, because he paid it forward, and because he opened doors, and I try to open doors for others. Now, there have been times that God has used me to open big doors and help and support people, help them get through school and help them get where they want to be, and they get where they want to be, and they act like you never existed. Two things: was I doing it? You have to check yourself. Was I doing it because I wanted accolades from them? Yeah, it hurts when you bless people and they turn on you. But what was my motive? Was my motive to authentically help them with no strings attached? And I know it hurts when you bless people. So was your motive right? That's number one. Number two. Number two, what has helped me when I bless people and people, same people turn, and I bless people, the people that I was a blessing to, they tried to be an assassin to me for no reason at all. Sometimes jealousy, sometimes they let the wrong people get in their ears, sometimes immaturity. But what happens when you've been a blessing and they want to be the assassin? Here's what I realized. God, God blesses us based upon the posture of our hearts and what we do for others. God never blesses you based on how they respond. Their response to you is not why you're blessed. God blesses you based upon the condition of your heart. And here's what the enemy wants to do. The enemy wants to use betrayal and disloyalty and hurt from how other people did you to make you change your character. Because the moment you change your character and change who you are, that's the moment the blessings from God stop flowing in your life. So it's really a test. These things happen because the enemy tries to stop the flow of blessings in your life. So how does the enemy stop the flow of blessings in your life? By making you change who you are. And how does the enemy make you change who you are? By allowing somebody else to hurt you and be disloyal. Because the moment they're disloyal to you, you shut down and say, I'm not going to do this to anybody else. The moment you shut down, you become a closed fist. Well, there's one thing about a closed fist, nothing can come out, but also nothing can come in. And so I've learned that when people have been disloyal, I say, God, you know my heart. You know why I did what I did. And what I realize is this, you and I don't reap where we sow, but we will reap what we sow. So sometimes the same people that you sown into their lives, you may not reap back from them. You bless somebody else, and sometimes with us, because you bless that person, you think the blessing is going to be reciprocated. Sometimes when you bless people, you think it's going to return to you from them. No, 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 no. The Bible doesn't say you reap where you sow, but it does say you will reap what you sow. So if you sow blessings, if you sow love, if you sow favor, it may not come back from the people that you sown it to, but somebody who you don't even know in other ways, in other times, and it always comes back more than what you sow. See, you can sow one seed, but when you put one seed in the ground, one seed can produce a big old harvest. A lot of produce can come from one seed. So don't allow betrayal and hurt and disloyalty from one person. I ain't gonna bless nobody else and cause you to shut down. Because the moment you shut down, that's the moment when you stop the flow of blessings in your life. Because God blesses you based upon the quality of your heart and what you did. You know, I was talking to somebody a while ago. They're like, Pastor, I love what you're doing with the church. You know, you show us what you do with the remodeling, blah, 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 blah. And, Pastor, and you keep us abreast of our tithes and offerings, our Mission 2020. And I'm glad because I was at my other church and I stopped giving because I didn't know what they were doing with the money. I said, well, hold on a second. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be in a place where you can't trust what they're doing. But secondly, don't ever be in a ministry and stop giving. If you can't get the answers you want, don't stop giving. Give somewhere else. Because your blessings don't come. Somebody said, Pastor, I don't know what they were doing the money. They were mishandling. Well, your blessing comes on what you do, not what they do. If somebody's mishandling something and it's going on, that blessing right there, you're not blessed based on how they handle it. You're blessed based upon how you gave it. So don't ever stop giving to a ministry. Ask the questions. Talk to the leadership. But sow your seed somewhere. You're blessed upon you giving the tithes, not if they misappropriate it or you don't see any results. Because the blessing comes based upon the quality of your heart and your actions, not what they did with it. Are you listening to me? And that's true. It also can be, that's good, Tina. Shut down can be a indirect form of unforgiveness. And so I just decided it helped me to live through the pain. I'm not gonna say it doesn't hurt. There have been a few people who've hurt me, and I'm sure I've hurt others, but not being grateful for what they've done for me. No, not in that way. But nothing is more painful when you bless somebody and you've gone deep to sacrifice, and they act like you don't even exist or they've forgotten about it. It's hurtful, but don't let it change you. Because one of the signs that you're doing things God's way is you're dependable. Put that scripture back up, that you're loyal in your, that you have loyalty in your loyalty in your commitments, right? This is what it says. Let me keep going. We find ourselves involved in loyal commitments. And so that's in relationships and your fellowships. So ask yourself, that's one thing that you're doing God's way. If I commit to it, I'm gonna be loyal to it. If it's Girl Scouts, if it's church, if it's the job, if it's a relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, you know, here's another thing that people do too. I don't know if you ever seen this. Have you ever seen people fall out that were once friends and they were very close and they shared very intimate things and with people? In a moment they fall out, they go tell everything that people told them. That I see it all the time. And I have had people tell me things in their worst days, right? I've had people tell me some of the most gruesome details of their lives. And I later discovered that person had turned on me and was trying to disparage my name through lies, all kind of foolishness. But one thing I would never do, I would never divulge what somebody told me in confidence. As a pastor, you become a vault. I will go to the grave with people's secrets that I'm holding. I will go to the grave with secrets, with some things that only I know. And what is interesting is, and some of the people who have told me these secrets have tried to do everything they could to try to kill me, right? But I still will honor my integrity and honor the importance of what they told me in time of confidence, because that's when it goes to the level, being loyal to people who have been disloyal to you, because there's a principle. Because what you do for others and how you handle others, you sow seed. And so if you don't want anybody to do you that way, don't you do anybody that way. And so that's the blessing I have. I know things about people, I could destroy them. People who lied and try to act like they're in your face, but I would never do that. Because at the time it was shared that wasn't true for you, absolutely. At the time that it was shared, I gave my word I would never share this. People can be very cruel. That's right there, so I made up in my mind that God will honor me based upon being dependable in relationships and in fellowships. All right? Yeah, I'm gonna take it to the grave no matter what happens. Say what you want to say. That's what you do. Why? It's a principle. Because if I do that to them, I'm opening up the door for that to happen. What we do, sow seeds. Here's another one. So dependable in relationships and fellowships. Here's another one. Determination not to rig or force. Rig and force. Let me deal with this for a moment. I may stop right here, because I'm over my time. I talked too much. I talked a long time waiting for you guys to get on, but I won't hold you long an hour. Determined not to rig. Just rig things. Maneuver. I want to use that word. Just rigging. Just trying to rig, make stuff happen, force things to happen. Look at this scripture here. And put the scripture back up, and I'm gonna deal with this one, and I'll pick this up Tuesday. Look at the scripture again, Galatians 5. He says, but what happens when we live God's way? He brings gifts into our lives, much the same way the fruit appears in the orchid. Things like affection for others, exuberance about life, serenity. We develop a willingness to stick with things, a sense of compassion in the heart, and a conviction that a basic wholeness permeates things and people. We did that Tuesday. We find ourselves involved in loyal commitments. That's dependability in relationships and fellowships, but a determination to not rig or force. Look what he says: not needing to force our way in life. Stop right there. Not needing to force our way in life. Not needing to force our way in life. Too many people try to make things happen. We have an outcome in our head, and we would try to manipulate circumstances and people to get the desired outcome, forcing our way in life. We will stack the deck. We will rig. That's the word I wish to use. Some people who are going for a job or going for promotion, you'd be surprised some of the dirty things people can do when they're trying to get promoted. When they want it to be their way. You'd be surprised trying to force your way in life. Trying to make things happen. People will connive. People will lie. People will backbite, backstab, lose integrity. People who have proximity to your ear, they'll say things to you about other people to keep you from being connected to them. I've known people who they were double agents. They can be with two people who don't like each other, and they'll be in the middle. They'll be telling lies on this one to this one, telling lies on this one to that one, and they're right in the middle. You wonder why two people don't like each other. Sometimes those two people who don't like each other have a common friend, and that common friend is using both of them. But the best way to use both of them is keep both of them divided. I've seen it happen. That people want power, they want access, and people will force and connive, cutthroat. That's to get what they want in life. You know, I was talking to Bishop Jakes last week at his conference, and that's right, underhanded. And we were talking, and I sit back and watch at these conferences. You know, and I'm getting to be on the other side. I used to be the young preacher, you know, and now I'm the not so young preacher. I'm the middle aged preacher now. but in terms of pastor, I'm a veteran pastor. I'm on the back end now. 30-something years makes me a veteran in pastoring, but even though I'm still middle aged in terms of my age, but because I've been doing it so long, now I've seen young preachers do anything to get a stage. I've seen them spend money they don't have. I've seen them, you know, losing their integrity because they see the stage, but the stage they want to be on don't have, that person doesn't have character. And I've seen them, just in the faces. I've seen them. They saw another preacher who was up and doing well. I've seen them try to do all kind of dirty things to settle that person so they can get invited. You name it, I've seen it. Even in clergy, evil preachers. They will sell their mama for a preaching opportunity. They'll lose someone will lose a leg or a finger just to be able to sit on stage to pray over the offering. Yeah, and I've seen them. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. I've seen them do a lot of things for preaching opportunity. It's the same thing in corporate America. You know how corporate America can be cutthroat. Church can be the same way. People will do anything to come up for an opportunity. They'll force their way in life. But can I tell you something? I believe, and you may call me crazy for this, but I sincerely believe when God has something for you, you don't have to force it. If God has an opportunity for you, you don't have to rig or force it. All you have to do is prepare. See, too many times people perpetrate for opportunities, but don't prepare for them. Too many times people fight for opportunities, but don't prepare for them. Too many times people will steal or kill for an opportunity, but don't prepare. You're exactly right. I've seen preachers. I've seen preachers. When God started blessing my ministry, you'd be surprised the type of attacks that mostly come from jealous people. People want to be where you are, and they think the best way to do it. They think that unscrewing your light bulb is going to make theirs shine brighter. But let me tell you a mantra I live by: preparation plus opportunity equals success. And if God has an opportunity for you, you just need to prepare for it. That's it, Duana. Your gift make rooms for you. The problem that happens with us in life is instead of us allowing our gift to make room for us, we try to make room for the gift. The Bible never tells you to make room for your gift. The Bible tells you let your gift make room for you. When you make room for your gift, when you make room for the gift, you also have to make room for the sustaining of it. So let your gift make room for you. Let your gift make room for you. And learn this, that if you stay faithful and stay small enough long enough, God will make you big enough soon enough. I'm here to tell you something right now. God doesn't need you to make room for your gift. Let your gift make room for you. David didn't have to connive to get in the door, to get the oil. All he had to do was prepare. And so I'm going to close by telling you something. In this day and this time, let God bless you and let God take your gift to another level. I got to let y'all go now, but we're going to pick this back up on Tuesday. But in the meantime, don't connive. Don't force your way in life. Whatever doors are open for you, let God open them. And if God opens the door and puts you in there, God will be the one who keeps you in there. If you've put yourself in there, you got to sustain once you get there. But don't make room for your gift. Let your gift make room for you. You've been watching Morning Dew with E. Dewey Smith. I appreciate your time. Got to go out of time. But as always, remember this. If you'll be good to God, God will be good to you. Till next time, peace. I love you. Let your gift make room for you.
What you're looking for, you can find it here on the Hope TV. What you're looking for, what you're looking for.